morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Alconin. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Market is getting a little bit of a lift, but CSCO's getting a big lift after they beat their numbers there last night. But talk about a big lift. Abercrombie and Fitch is up $8 here in the pre-market. They blew the numbers away. That is driving up the entire apparel sector here. All your apparel retailers trading higher off those Abercrombie numbers. It's not all good news here today, though. Mosaic warns fertilizer stocks are probably going to open a bit weaker. Joel, what's your overall take here?
I'm a little concerned about the market here, Dennis.
Why?
We've had some nice rallies over the last couple of days. Yesterday we got up, into that 1380 handle. 1388 was the high. We gave it all the way back. Actually settled only 4 points off the low of the day. Had another rally overnight, hitting 81.75 in the pre-market around 5 a.m. and now we're back down at 1374. It seems like we're getting the pops, but they're not holding.
Yeah, we seem to have some some type of seller there in the 80s. Every time we get up into the 80s, it repels back down into the low 70s here. That's what we've seen for the last 4 days. I was saying there on the show, the longer we stay here in the low 70s, the more concerned I get for the market for a number of reasons. The first reason I was saying yesterday is that you have a lot of people starting to pick bottoms here, and as the short-term participants start to get long again, they weren't long before, but as they start to get long again now, that means the propensity to go down is higher. The second reason I'm starting to get concerned is that we've had some pretty good earnings from a couple of different stocks, a few different stocks over the last few days. Home Depot yesterday, and the market kind of couldn't go up on that. CSCO earnings last night were great. It drove the market up overnight, but again, the gains can't be held. And then you have Abercrombie and Fitch here this morning, and just look at the Abercrombie. It is up on 1.2 million shares here, Joel, trading up over $8, but the overall market not higher.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to rely on a sector of stocks to lead the next leg in the market, you certainly don't want to lean on the retail stocks because they're so volatile with their same source sales and whatnot. This Abercrombie Fitch move has hit 40.40 in the pre-market. Keeping an eye, that's above the level that we reached in September 14th. 39.65 was the high. After that, you get into this whole really gap area where you had a high at 42.85 on May 16th. But wouldn't you look at this, if you were bottom fishing on this stock, let's say since July, you hit $30 and now this thing's at 40? I mean, I'm not long it, but if I was, I'd be licking my chops.
Yeah, if I was long it, I'd probably be out around this 40 level too. But if it, like you said, if it gets through there though, so the 40 level's big. But if it gets through there, it opens right up too. So you could say, oh, maybe it's low risk trade, but I don't think it is, because if it starts to really cut through there quickly, and we've seen with the trading action at Home Depot yesterday how quickly these things can trade, thing could be at $41 in the blink of an eye if it really starts to take out the 40. And we're trading there right there in the pre-market, just flirting around here in this whole $40 area. So I don't know. It's a little bit scary to try to trade it from the short side, but definitely if I was long, wow, you give you a 30% here on an earnings report. They did blow the numbers away. I'll just give you the numbers. 87 cents against estimates of 59. They raised full year guidance to $2.85 to $3 from 248. So all good news from Abercrombie, but just kind of scary, if you're going to come in here buying this thing after it's rallied 30%, you're kind of late to the party.
And also another strategy for this too is, you got to let the dust settle here, at least up to 925. Let's say we do open at this $40 level, shoot up to just 40.70, 40.80, and then you come back down through the open or come back down through 40. I wouldn't want to be long with your money.
That might be the better play, is let the thing top out and let it come back through a key level, and then maybe you try it from the short side, because when you're just trying to pick tops on these things, we've seen in the Home Depot yesterday, very difficult to do. We thought, the stock might top out in the 63 area, and really it just flew through that area and got all the way up to above 64. So it is tricky when they're on good news. It's hard to pick tops, and sometimes the stocks do break out through resistance areas. Moving on, a lot of your other apparel retailers are going to be up to date on these Abercrombie numbers. Let's look at American Eagle Outfitters, direct competitor. It's trading up about 50 cents here in the pre-market on light volume.
Yeah, I mean, it's sympathetic plays here. This stock also a similar chart where it's been selling off to hit support just above the $19 level. The pop in the pre-market, really there's 400 shares traded, so I don't know how much credence you could put in this. It hit a high at 2007. Looking at the charts, a breakout over 20 here. I would not be as reluctant to buy this thing breaking over 20 with a tight stop under there. Doesn't look like there's a lot of resistance up until you get close to the 2060 level, and then you had a high at 2097 on November 6th. But it's not a lot of follow through on this with this stock.
Well, they're just getting started here too. We're very early in the morning, and I wouldn't be surprised if the strength does roll over into this sector, and we do see some follow through once the stocks do open at 9:30. Look at Aeropostale. That's trading up significantly here. It is on light volume, but it's bid up there too. 1306 is where it closed, symbol ARO. 1306 is where it closed. It's bid at 1375, offered up at 1449. It's traded some stock here at 1385. So it looks like this thing is going to get a decent lift. If Aeropostale goes up, 4 or 5% here, then I've got to think that the AEO that we just talked about is probably going to get a decent lift as well.
Just keep an eye on double top you had from November 5th and November 6th at 1423 to 1428. That should be a good level to keep an eye on. After that, things kind of get up, open to 15, and then you just have that ugly gap area that needs to be filled.
We're not going to have time to do the technicals on all the stocks, but I'll just mention other ones that could move up in sympathy. Obviously, Ralph Lauren, it hasn't had any trades this morning. It could move up. The Gap is another one. GPS. Also, JWN could be moving up here higher. Nordstrom. So all these apparel retailers could be strong. Another one, VF Corp, could be moving higher. But one I do want to do a technical on is the Limited LTD, because they actually do report earnings tonight.
Has put a nice bottom in here if you swing traders are looking for a reference point. Last four lows between 46.17 and 46.39. Did get a rally at the end of the day, so we are away from that level. But if you're looking for a swing trade, that's an excellent level of support. Coincides with the low it had back in August at 46.33. Primary area of resistance I would be looking at would be the 48.64 to 48.76 level. That was the highs back on November 6th and November 7th. But I know they're not in the same sector, but J.C. Penney's not getting much of a bounce off this.
J.C. Penney, we've thrown them out with. we're done on the long side with J.C. Penney. We've been done with them for a while, and they just continue to go lower yesterday. Like obviously we said, if it cut through the low yesterday, 17.90, I wouldn't want to be long it. Well, it fell another 50 cents after it cut through that. It is getting a little lift. It's up 13 cents here, Joel, but I don't think J.C. Penney's going to bounce back a buck or two on these Abercrombie numbers.
And I just wanted to mention too that we talked about it yesterday in the pre-market. Ackman was there talking his position, and he barely got it up over the close, over the previous day's close.
Yeah.
Usually when he gets a better pop than that. But what else are we looking at today? The Cisco kid?
Yeah, let's talk about Cisco. Obviously, they beat 48 cents against estimates of 46 cents. So beat by a couple cents. The stock had a little bit of muted action right after reporting. It was trading up a dime, 15, 20 cents, and then it started to go for a rally, and then it just kept rallying and rallying over $18. Joel will go find that after hours high for you, because I think it got as high as $18.30.
It did get up to $18.37 in the pre-market here. We've fallen back to the $18 level. You have that one spotty high here at $17.90. I'd use that as a swing number. If we break back down below $17.90, could attempt to get back into yesterday's range. Once again, the stock formed a nice bottom around the 16.70, 75 levels. People were covering their shorts or trying some longs ahead of earnings. Now you get a just nice buck pop. I just don't see how much follow through we can get back. If we can even get back up to that 1837 level.
It was lifting most of your or a lot of your tech stocks after hours. I know IBM started trading up over a buck after hours. It is trading up over $1 here again this morning, just on a couple hundred shares. You also had EMC was trading up last night around 24.39, getting a lift on those Cisco numbers. So, and EMC is bid at 24 and a quarter this morning, even though it hasn't had any trades this morning. But last night was trading higher on the Cisco numbers.
Pull up the that IBM chart real quickly for folks that are thinking the market's putting the bottom in here. Maybe think again when you look at this IBM chart. It has gotten a couple lifts over the last couple days, but until this thing can clear the double top from Monday and Tuesday, 190.77, 190.88, I think there's still going to be a lot of pressure on this stock.
Yeah, IBM's had a rough month here, really, since they reported earnings and you had the gap down. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, maybe this is going to find support at 200, and they were picking bottoms in the thing. Well, they picked too soon because the stock is now 12 points lower than that again. So since they reported earnings, this stock has quietly lost about 23 points. So that's starting to get a little bit concerning here. You'd obviously like to see IBM hold the low there that it made 2 days ago at 187.40. If that eventually gets taken out, then Katie bar the door. I think the thing could see eventually in the 185 area. But hopefully today, with the Cisco numbers being decent, it's trading up in the pre-market. Maybe we start to get a lift and retest that double top that you just talked about, 190.88. Other stocks in the news here, like we were saying on the headline, Mosaic, they are warning stock is trading down here significantly in the pre-market on pretty decent volume. It closed at 50.75. They're warning on they're warning to cut their second quarter guidance here. So the stock is trading down $2.50 right now. Traded down last night when they did this warning. How low did it get last night, Joel?
It's interesting. You got two spike lows in this thing. The first initially when the news came out at 47.66, and then not too long ago you got another spike down to 47.65. So someone's lurking around in that area looking to pick up some stock. We've bounced a buck above that. Use 48.5 as minor resistance here. That's where it's been topping out in the pre-market. Use the 47.65 level as support. If you go to the dailies, you did have a low back at 47.81 back on June 15th. So keep an eye on this thing if it gets down to that at that $48 level.
A couple other stocks that are going to probably move down in sympathy. Agrium AGU is trading down a little bit last night on this Mosaic numbers. Another one, Potash POT, that is trading down in the pre-market. Actually, Potash has a pretty active market here, trading already 17,000 shares this morning, and it's down 50 cents. All these charts kind of look the same. They all look like crap. CF, another one too, and it's trading down actually 3 points here this morning. I think CF actually, did it go ex-dividend? Yeah, it had a 40-cent dividend too. So it shows some of these dividend capture players that got beat up on Microsoft yesterday. If they brought home CF Industries, they're getting beat up in that one too. But these fertilizer stocks, they don't look good.
They look like crap.
They look like crap. No pun intended. So, potash, we were talking about that 40 number, I know, a few days ago, and we said if it started cutting below 40, that it's going to start to get ugly. Where is this thing going?
Well, looking at the pre-market, you did get a spike down when that other news came out to 37.78. You're getting a little bit of a bounce on that. I think you got to keep an eye on yesterday's low, 38.61. That is going to be resistance. You're getting into a little bit of a vacuum area here. 38.16 was the low back on June 18th, but below that, I'm looking for 37.66, which is the low on June 15th.
More bad news. OSG, which is Overseas Shipping Group, filing for bankruptcy here, bankruptcy protection this morning. It is trading down at 44 cents now, closed at $1.13. Here's a stock that was $7 in October. It is now 44 cents and looks to be going out of business.
What's going on with that? Why would the overseas shipping be so rotten?
I don't know. That's not good though. Well, look at Dryships. You can look at this slowly moving down here for quite some time. You obviously go out to the weeklies, and you can really see that these things have been ugly. OSG has been the same story. I mean, we go back here. You can go back here under the monthlies. This thing was an $85 stock in 2008. It is now gone for all purposes anyways. And Dryships, if we go back there, used to be $130 stock back in 2007. It's $2. When stocks go from $130 to 2, they usually continue the road to zero. Sorry to say, folks. So if you're picking bottoms in these things, I just think, from maybe for trades, you can maybe do these things for different trades and stuff. But long-term investing in stocks that fall 98%, I'd like to know the stats on stocks that fall in 98%. How many have actually come back? There ain't a lot of them.
Well, Ford didn't Ford go to like a buck?
Well, Ford went to like a buck, yeah. So Ford is one of them that came back. Remember Pier 1 too, PIR. So they do come back. PIR, remember we were talking about that one a couple of weeks ago. That thing got down to like 20 cents in the financial crisis, and it's now $20. So, I mean, there is cases that these things do come back, but I just don't think it's good, especially for Dryships now that OSG is obviously filing for bankruptcy protection. Yahoo, YHOO. We have not talked about this stock for a while. We wanted to mention it. It had a great day yesterday. It's been breaking out ever since it got above that whole 15 or 1650 area.
Yeah,
It kind
boy.
of formed a nice base there for 3 or 4 days, and now has just been marching here for the better part of November.
Yeah, have they released any earnings? Or they should be coming up, huh?
Well,
I don't see.
I
Or
think it
did they
was the
already
gap up
report?
day. I think we had it back. Did we not have it back in late
Yeah,
October
you're
in that
right.
gap up day? I think. I might be wrong. Well,
Okay,
actually, there was a gap down day in August too again. So actually, they might be coming up. I could go check that, but
1785 was yesterday's high, so that's going to act as support now since we're trading above it. Uh, don't see a lot in the book in this thing. I mean, obviously the psychological $20 level. You did have a high back in May at 1884, so that could be where Yahoo's heading here if the rally continues.
let's talk about Apple. We've obviously got to talk about that on the show. This is the fourth day now that we have hung out in this whole 537 to 550 area. Every time it seems to get up to this whole 550 area, it starts to sell off, gets in the low 540s, and it finds buyers. Is this going to be the trend that continues, or does Apple eventually start to cave again?
Well, no one's been talking about this stock, and really, like if this is like such a great buy, you think that some of the analysts would be, stepping out here after a 160-point down
Well,
move.
Cass stepped out. Doug Cass did step out there 2 days ago, and I liked his analysis actually. And just for full disclosure, I did write some puts, some long-term puts on Apple here. I wrote out real long in 2015, but or 2014, but I think I
Sell
think
that premium, man. Sell
yeah,
that
well, that's what
premium.
I'm doing is I'm picking up premium. I actually wrote the 550 2014 January, so I'm going out 14 months. I got $88 for that. So
Why don't you just quickly explain to our listeners what the scenario would be with you, where you would could potentially buy that stock at?
so basically, since I've written the 550 puts, and this isn't a trade, this is in my investment account, a long-term investment. I'm basically saying I got 88 points for it. I'm basically saying if the stock goes to 460, that's my break even in 2014. But under Doug Cass analysis, and I liked his analysis, which kind of made me jump into it, so I'll give him some props. He was saying the stock is 120 bucks in cash right now. Go out, they're making $50. Say on conservative estimates, they make $50 for the next year and a half. So that means the stock, come my 2015 times, probably got about 180 bucks in cash. That means if I actually get the stock at the 460, my 550 strike minus the $88 that I paid in premium, so 462, that means I'm only paying about $280 for the ongoing operations of Apple. That sounds pretty dang cheap to me, so that's why I'm doing it for an investment. I don't know where the bottom is, but I'm just saying that I think it's going to be well above 460 in 14 months. That's what I'm basically making the call on.
Okay, and then from a technical perspective, you don't get a double close very often in Apple at the same area. That's what you have 542.83 and 42.90, two closes in a row. I use that as a good swing number. You are 3 points above that. I think that should be good support. Coming on the upside here, 550.48. I only look at that as minor resistance. What I'm really looking at is a double top from 554 half to 88, 54.88. You break above there, Apple's off to the races. I think you could easily get back up into the 570 level over the next couple days.
But I'm still nervous, even though I've written those puts. I don't like it that it's hung out here for 4 days now, and I think other people are accumulating stock and buying it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market tries to shake those people out. So if this thing starts to cut below, I think it was Monday's low there. Was it Monday? No, Friday's low of 533.72. I would get very nervous here if I was long. Now, short a put, long-term put, I'm not nervous about that position because that's a long-term investment, different type of strategy. But if I was flat out picking bottoms in the stock right now, I'd be nervous if it got under 533. Let's just finish with the overall market here, Joel. We are bouncing up a bit here since we started the show. 1377 is where we're at now. Can this market get above that whole 1388 area and start to rally?
There's just not a lot of good numbers, in this 1377 handle, except for the close 1371. That's just above the lows. I think as long as we could stay above the Globex low 1372, I still think we're poised to go north. I think even if you do break down below there, though, I mean you're going to run into all those other bottoms, so I wouldn't expect a big flush out. Coming back, looking at the resistance, the overnight high, even though it was Monday's high, 81.77, still not a real significant number to me. 1388. I mean, if you look at it, over the last 3 or 4 days, the SPUs have stayed in about a 25-point range, a little bit over that. They're going to probably bounce around there a little bit more before we get a breakout above 1388 or a breakdown below 1363.
That's our show for today, folks. Have a great trading day. We'll be back with you tomorrow with the Walmart Target earnings.